Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. And it's all happening everywhere all the time. I'm looking forward to talking to my friends here on Facebook and the Bringing Forth Soul Consciousness Facebook group page because you are my pals. You are who I am speaking to and desiring to be connected with. And you're the folks who seem to have similar experiences. Maurice, yeah, you made it. This is great. Oh man, it's going to be a good morning if Maurice is here. Um, we had a fantastic meditation this morning at the 7:30 event, and I hope all of you enjoyed it. It was just really rich and filled with so much light and consciousness, and it was so easy to go where the energy was taking us. I hope that all of you got it. It stays up on my Facebook page for um, I don't know, 6 months. That's what I posted it for 6 months because it was a good one. So you can check it out there. It is a really great meditation for feeling your own inner light, for connecting with your soul, the divine, and Mother Earth. And what a wonderful batch of consciousness that is, and how wonderful it is that you're connected to all of them. Anyway, or we are. So, what I do here is you get to write your question into the comments, and I will give you a channeled answer. And I take these very seriously. I have my heart open. Before, but this music, this is not working for me. Let me get rid of that. That was just a little too. Anyway, so I take your questions seriously, and what I do before I begin these events is to ask the divine to please put in front of me the people that the divine wants me to speak to, and put the words in my mouth that you want them to hear. So it's really, it's all about you. And that's the point. Now, let's see. What are we going to do here? I want to see if there are any questions in the comments. Please post away. There are no dumb questions. Whatever is going on for you is important and needs to be addressed. And I'm here to help you do that. And I'm going to make an adjustment to my desk here just for a moment. You guys type away while I'm adjusting. That feels better. Feels like a little more like what I'm supposed to be viewing here. All right. So, how are you this day? Have you been feeling the energies? Good morning, Rebecca, Donald, Pat Hansen. Pat's going to be asking the good questions. So we got a full moon tomorrow. I forget what time. I try and follow some astrologers because I don't know anything about that. Just to inform me a little bit about the energies that are present, planetary wise, because sometimes we think or we take personally what's happening to us, and it's really something that's going on planetary wise, planet structurally. And we can go easier on ourselves rather than blame ourselves for everything that's going on. And just to know what some of the contributing factors are good to acknowledge. And good morning, Timothy Marshall Benson. How are you? Lovely to have you here. And I'm hoping that y'all have questions that I can help you with. That's the whole point of this live video, is, giving me and you an opportunity to address your questions and give me an opportunity to give back. I channeled this book. It's called Bringing Forth Soul Consciousness. And that's why this group page is named after this. It's an Akashic guide to living a fulfilled life. And it helps you connect with your soul. It helps you connect with the Akashic records of your soul, which you are entirely entitled to. Good morning, Andrea. How are you? Nice to see you here. Working in the Akashic records and your particular Akashic records is very, very potent way to look at the experiences you've had in this life, to help you digest them, to help you assimilate them, and to know that your soul might have put these experiences in your life for a very particular reason, to press you into growing upwards towards the light, or to press you towards getting out of a bad situation and moving into one that's more helpful to you. And this book, Bringing Forth Soul Consciousness, teaches you how to work in your Akashic records and ask questions that are valuable to you so that you can start to do what I'm doing for you right here. Although I don't open all your Akashic records here on this show, but I do have you in mind, and I create a conscious connection with my guides. The Anubis is my original guide that I channel. And as I was guided to work in the Akashic records, I started to channel the Akashic beings of light. And on occasion, I get to channel the divine herself. And that's who the Akashic beings of light have taught me is called the Great Creatress. So let's see. Okay, as I suspected, Pat Hansen has entered the first question of the day. That full moon and other astrological happenings is the human race at a critical inflection point. Not sure what you mean by inflection. I think that we are, as a race, we are trying to find ways to harmonize with consciousnesses that are very, very different than our own, with groups that have different values than we might. But when we get underneath all of these external expressions, the clothes they wear, the skin color, the cultural differences, there's still that humanity. There's still that profound basis upon which to love and to expand, to include all these different groups. People who want essentially the same security, financial well-being, love, freedom that all of us want. All of us want to be able to have plenty of food, a roof over our heads, beauty to view and experience. We want to have connection, family, and interactions with people who inspire us, who assist us in getting our work done, our mission accomplished. all of us are looking to expand to include. And that's why my guides use that phrase, expand to include. And I would say that this full moon is a wonderful opportunity to do that. I believe it's an Aries full moon, which I think of as is a forceful, creative, um, action-oriented sign. It can be very powerful, sometimes even dominating. However, Aries is also good with creating groups and creating harmoniousness within groups, finding where these groups cross over and it's like the Venn diagram. Where do they overlap? This group has this circle, this group has this circle, but somewhere in the middle, there's an overlap of the circles that count. And that overlap is also a great way to see expand to include. Um, there are reasons why we are drawn to certain people, because they share our very basic values, and they teach us how to love in the most expansive way. Sometimes my love for others is at a rather detached, arm's length, and sometimes it's very, very intimate, and sometimes it's somewhere in between. There are lots of stages in between. There are lots of colors between black and white, rather than just seeing things as either or black or white or right or wrong. If we can see each other and where we overlap, and we expand to include all that, it really helps to perceive others very similarly to ourselves. And then we could begin to love each other as our neighbor. Um, Teresa says, can I send love to my dear friend Jerry Tucker and invite him to stay near me if he wants to? I'm having a hard time losing this friend. Heart is aching. Why didn't I call him a couple nights ago when he was so strong on my mind? Okay, I'm going to tune into Jerry Tucker as it relates to your relationship with him. I'm stating it in this way because as I tune into this person that I have no permission to tune into directly, I have to go through you and your energy and what you understand about him. Okay, so well, the guides are actually saying that you're not losing this friend. That is your ideas about shortage coming up again. And it can be shortage of love, shortage of attention, and thinking that you're not good enough, that your love is not good enough, or the way that you conducted yourself, in a friendship with someone is not good enough. Now, you may want to expand your heart to include him, because your spiritual heart, use your spiritual heart here. Your spiritual heart is even bigger than the heart chakra. It's far more eternal, infinite, functional, and it transmits and it transpons messages very efficiently. There you go. And the core frequency that your spiritual heart carries is love. And so as you think of Jerry Tucker, use your spiritual heart and that core frequency of love to expand to include him. Now, I get the sense that Jerry is retreating for his own reasons that have nothing to do with you. And that it is his nature to get close, run away, get close, run away. And he's working to amend that pattern. But he's also a person who needs privacy to adjust and assimilate life experiences. And so the retreat is so that he may better digest his life experiences, better assimilate the energy and the stretching that he does, and then that causes him to retreat back into this his safety zone. And this is just his nature. And if you're going to love him, you've got to expand to include that. And there needs to be permission for that to happen as well. You can invite him to share what he is experiencing. Excuse me. You can invite him to share with you his experience, but I would do so on the energy planes first. And imagine making yourself a very safe environment for him to share himself with, non-judgmental. You may even need to detach a bit from how you have been holding him or wanting to keep him a little closer and make it less tight-fisted and open-handed now, make it more open-handed now. And to know that no matter what, you have your center in yourself and you don't require him to function as your center. You don't require him to be a certain way for you to be okay. Yeah. Well done, Teresa. You did that very well. There you go. And know that your first job, Teresa, is to love yourself, this body that you've been given, to love the divine, and the divine as it is expressed through you and your heart and your dealings every day with everyone around you, that you are full and complete as you are, and you are giving from your overflow. That brings up a concept of that's very important to me. It's giving from our abundance, not from our need and our shortage. And if we tap into our inner love and that spiritual heart and that connection with the divine and her eternal supply, that infinite supply of love that never ends, and we trust that the divine is loving all of our beloveds, our loved ones, with equal force and supply and generosity, then we aren't trying to fill what we perceive as gaps in other people. That's just our personality talking. It's just human programming. And if you give from your abundance, because you know that you're tapped into that infinite supply of love and the divine's attention on you, then there would be no loss of attention and there would be no loss of love for you. Just fill up those empty places, those inner child needs, get them met with divine love, filling you up. And fill your own needs with divine supply. And then it's easy to allow others to be who they are and be in their process and not be on a teeter-totter with them. And if they're down, you've got to go in a different direction, and you don't have to balance things out. The divine is the balance point. And so you want to just go ahead and put yourself into that balance point with the divine and expand to include from there. Geez, this whole thing is all about expanding to include in different ways, isn't it? Okay. Oh, he just died. Oh, well. Let me just. Uh-huh. Well, he is, right now he's busy. And I don't think he has fully figured out how to connect with the earth plane yet. Sometimes that takes a while for a soul to be able to do and to come through and visit others, or to bring a little compassion and calming to you after their death. Um, it's it was a good time for him to step away from the body. He had committed himself to a process in this lifetime while he was in a body that he could not further from the place he was in. And he's working on finding ways to ameliorate that or grow his soul to a state of consciousness where he could come back in a physical body and further that work and those efforts. Good morning, Susan Burke. Good morning, Shannon Altman Hood. This is great. I'm reading what Teresa wrote here. I just found out he is no longer using his body. I'm here when he's done processing, never retreated from me. Okay, that's good. Good. He just died. Okay. That's good that you know that. There was a teeter-totter photo I was thinking of when you said teeter-totter. They use that image a lot with me when I'm thinking about my codependent relationships, where my mood was sort of based on if my designated partner was in a good space, then I could be happy. If he was in a bad space, I couldn't be happy, or I had to join him down there in that icky place, or I had to fix him or moderate somebody else's experience. And rather than just see that that was another person's experience and they're choosing that, much as I get to choose in this moment to be in a state of love or compassion or even detachment. Um, sorry, folks, still a little bit of a crud leaving my body as I am restored to pure health and strength. Um, Jerry, is there anything else you want Teresa to know or this group to know? His message is that never to never discount the power of your love. That everyone is fueled by the love of the divine. And there's so much to be had. In that sense, Pat Hansen, I just saw The Forge. What, I don't know what that means. Is that a movie? Can you tell me more about that? And how does that fit into our conversation? Because I know there's a relevance that I'm just not quite catching right now. I want to thank everybody for being here. Susan Burke, look at you. I just figured out who you were. How are you? Are you liking your new place in the world? What amazing things are you up to? Are you creating any more these days? Your crystal shop is doing well and making hay? Okay, there's Pat's answer. Good. What is the truth or authenticity rating for this movie, The Forge? Masters, teachers, and loved ones of Annie Elizabeth Batchelder. What is the truth or falsity of The Forge? Well, the answer is interesting to me. It's kind of complex, pulling my personality in and wanting to make a judgment. Okay. Or bring in doubt, actually. But what the guides are saying is that there is 100% truth and authenticity in this movie, as is true for any creative component of an invention, of a creation. It's always true, because the people who had to come bring this forth were in agreement about the truth of what they felt they needed to expose or demonstrate or project. And it's from that agreement about the veracity of the information and the imagery they present that the power of this, I guess, the film, because you saw it, actually it delivers. And this is the thing, Pat, you don't have to agree with it. Isn't that nice to know you don't have to agree with it? Yes. So, you can, in your wisdom, and you are wise. You liked it, you agreed with it. I get it. Okay, well, that verifies it for me as well. I'll have to consider, where did you see it? In the theater, or did you see it on one of this, Netflix or Prime or something like that? Be nice to know. Okay. But what you are bringing up is an important point, that when a person or a soul decides to create something, they create it from the truth of the beingness in it. They create from the truth of the message they create from the truth of the color, the imagery, the sensations, and what it brings forth in them to focus upon that. And so there's always veracity and authenticity in that creation, even if it does not seem to message in a way to others that they might like or might have intended. Doesn't mean it hits home for all of us. And that's the joy of working with whatever, you know? Okay. Um, let's see. Ah, San Leandro, a theater for you. Okay, great. Good, good, good. All right. Well, I will look into that because Peter and I are always looking for interesting films. He loves movies. He loves going to the movies. Never had anybody take me to the movies so much, and it was just this sense of luxury to go to the movies all the time. Now, any other questions you folks have? We're pulling in a lot of information around expanding to include the truth as it is seen, felt, and known in different bodies and personalities, as it is expressed in different bodies and personalities. And as for Jerry Tucker, I believe that he was a very sincere person, earnest even, possibly even a little too serious. And that made it a little hard for him in terms of a perfectionist. He had a very strong perfectionist. But I'm looking for what other questions might my friends out here in Facebook land have that the guides can be helpful with. It's for you. Anybody's question is okay. Here we go. I'm not sure why I can't come crying. I am in understanding. I can't come crying. I am in understanding. Okay. I'm not sure what you are trying to get across, Teresa. Do you want to cry and you can't? It's all right. I can't stop crying. Okay. Yeah. Well, the loss of one person often triggers incomplete losses of others. And so anybody can get rolled into that whole grief party, and that's just fine. And also, crying gives you a sense of connection, love. It lets you really plumb the depths of your heart. And it's a way that you feel that you can maintain the connection to Jerry that feels good for you right now. And I think that's just right. It's just as it should be. You know, you'll stop crying when you're supposed to cry. Stop crying, not to worry. You understand these processes. They can just sort of take you over. And you just kind of have to surrender yourself to it. Grief is a very odd player. It can be difficult to deal with because it has its own timing and its own expression and fulfillment, and sometimes feels uncontrollable, inaccessible at times, and overly accessible. Swamp in your boat is what my guides like to say. It's just swamp in your boat. Grief can just swamp your boat, and that's all right. You're there. Your boat's you wanting to feel it. It's all right. And it's a state of aliveness that and emotionality which we often crave. And so, hey, have a good time, be in it. You know, it's happening. And then when it's not happening, it won't be happening. And be in the moment. It's wonderful. I feel like you have the freedom in your life, Teresa, to experience that and not to have to temper it or damp it down or operate on top of it, just so you can like go to work or be a, a kind of personality that you feel like you have to be in the world. You get to actually feel it. And it feels like you're appreciating the closeness that you had with this gentleman in a way that you hadn't appreciated before. That's all. Wow. It's good to have feelings. I did a seminar, a spiritual workshop over the weekend. I was supposed to go up to Ashland, go live, but I had to do it online because I had this cold and didn't feel like I needed to do more traveling. I've been moving, driving here and there for 3 weeks, and I had to slow down. And there was a moment. There were two moments when I just had to cry in this, and one was where the leaders brought us into awareness of all the beings of light that encircle us, that are helping us. And in this deal with us together, this undertaking of a body on a planet Earth is no small task, as we know. Sometimes it's overwhelming, and just being alive swamps our boat. But knowing that there's an enormous circle of light-filled being, high beings, gathering together to support us in all that we are doing and all that we are and all that we have committed to in this lifetime. It's good to know. It's good to feel that. It's good to access that and to check in with that. Yeah, Teresa, you want to spend more time with him. You had a special connection. Well, he's aware of it, that's for sure. And you're not going to let him forget it. And he's aware of you right now, so don't worry. The connection is there. The heart connection is definitely strong. I mean, I can see the string of light, the connect, the projection of light from your heart to his heart. It's intact, so it's working. I'm wondering if anybody else has a question. Let's see. I'm going to just ask the guides if there's any information they want for us to have about this full moon tomorrow. So this is a great time to feel the fullness of your life and to perhaps even write a gratitude list of the things that exist in your life that make you feel fulfilled, that make you feel like you're on track, that feel like gifts and empowerments. This is a very, it's a harvest moon, and they're very large and very tactile. You can feel them. They're perceptible, full moons around this time of year. as well as visually amazing. So it might be a good nudge to get us out there at sunset so we can and see the moon. Or as it gets dark. I'm just thinking back to other full moons, harvest moons, where I've been driving down the road. It was just right there at the end of the road. And it was so close. It seemed so big, really pronounced. And know that the water in our bodies is being pulled by this full moon. So that maybe that accounts for the tears as well. The full moon is drawing all those tears out from our bodies. And maybe we are just plain overflowing with the fullness of love in our lives and the generosity with which we've been showered, the ease of life, the joy. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to give it one more minute just to see if anybody else has a question. Anything else I can put attention on for you? I'm expanding to include all of those people who are online with us today and who will be watching this video later this week, this month, this year. I'm asking the divine if there are any final messages from her. She's showing me that all of us are like the divine's eggs, a clutch of eggs in a nest and a bird's nest. And she is cherishing and loving and keeping warm each one of us and helping each one of us in the ways that we need help. She's supporting each of us individually in the ways that we are most needing her help, and that she's participating with us and fulfilling needs, feelings, placing resources on our path in the highest and best way for each of us individually. And isn't it nice to know that she can attend to each of us so individually and yet so uniformly, completely, such that all humans on the planet are being supported and loved. Oh, Pat Hansen, you're so welcome. Thank you for being a great questioner. I'm going to look into that movie. All right. Thank you for being with me today. It's been my pleasure. And I welcome you all to keep tuning in. Please do, if you haven't purchased my book already, just go ahead and get it. You will find it really helps fulfill spiritual needs for spiritual food and avenues of self-expression and learning. And, you belong in having access to your own soul's Akashic records, the record of your soul's every thought, everything your soul has ever done, everything that your soul has ever said throughout all your lifetimes. It helps you with your ancestors. It helps you receive messages from your guides, your spiritual team in the Akashic records, your masters, teachers, and loved ones. That's what they're called. And you deserve to be empowered as you are with this book, and you can get it as a print book, a book in print. You can get the Kindle version, and you can get it as an audio book. And just order where you like. If you are not a fan of ordering print books on Amazon, it is available on Ingram Sparks. Ingram Sparks. That's the main book supplier for most of the independent bookstores, for sure, here in the United States and possibly elsewhere. I think their reach is a little bit further than that. But you have that non-Amazon possibility of gaining supply. And when I get off this live video, I will put in the comments all the links to the audiobook and the sources of supply for the print book, and both Amazon and Ingram Sparks, because that will be helpful for you. And it is helpful to me to know that you all were here paying attention and inquiring about the energy today and looking into your questions. Thank you so much. You're loved. Bless you. Thank you for being with me today.